Our career personnel surrounding LeBron James retro has one last stop, and that is Los Angeles. The move to Los Angeles was not a shock to anyone because Lakers president at the time, Magic Johnson, was literally going on late night talk shows talking about how much he wants to recruit a superstar small forward in the upcoming free agency. And for the first time since LeBron starts jumping teams, he moves to a team without any immediate stipulations, which does mean momentarily the Lakers got to keep their young core mostly intact. And I say mostly because Julius Randle did not want to stick around for the LeBron experience. He thought that he was just taking off in his career, and having LeBron around would probably demote him to the bench. And I believe there were ways for him to come back. He was a restricted free agent, but he asked the Lakers to let him out so he can go find his own pathway to the Pelicans. On a human level, it's nice that the Lakers understood and let him walk away. On an asset management level, not good at all to just let a good young player walk away for nothing. This feels like it would have been a great opportunity to pull off what the Bucks did with Malcolm Brogdon, letting him go to Indiana, but also getting a first-round pick out of it. Lakers could have done something like that. The second piece the Lakers lose, and this one has always baffled me, is they let Brook Lopez walk for like a veteran minimum, or like the mini mid-level. It's like $2 million. He was heading into his age 30 season and had just started to become a stretch 5, which would have been really nice next to LeBron. But LeBron's first Lakers team was not fully a youth movement. They do bring in the veterans. They bring in Lance, Rondo, JaVale McGee, Michael Beasley even. Unfortunately, one of the big problems of this season was you've got young players who have been used to starting, who believe they should start, and veterans who are used to starting and believe they should start. And there's never really a good dynamic. There's kind of two separate teams, the young team and the old team. The second problem is neither of those teams are healthy this season. LeBron plays 55 games, Ingram 52, Lonzo 47, Rondo 46. The team never really gelled and had lots of injuries to deal with, but that doesn't stop the Lakers from making panic trades at the deadline because they're not hitting expectations. And so the Lakers said goodbye to Svi Mikhailiuk, trading him for Reggie Bullock, and Ivica Zubac, trading him for Mike Muscala. This trade was bad in the moment and still hurts me to this day. It was an absolute fleecing, and it was one of those moments that, like, when Magic Johnson retires a few months later, I hope he thought about this moment. That brings us to the 2019 offseason, which is all about the Lakers trying to get Anthony Davis to pair with LeBron James. And when we look at the package, it's not too insane. Lonzo, Ingram, Josh Hart, DeAndre Hunter, 2 additional firsts, one of which became Dyson Daniels. But I do think it's important to note how public Anthony Davis's trade demands to LA were. He basically told everyone that he was only going to go to LA, he was only going to re-sign if he went to LA, and that no one else should give up anything, and the Lakers still gave up all of this. And then when the deal was just about reached, there was like a $4 million trade kicker that Davis had that everyone assumed he would waive, which he's like, nah man, I ain't waiving that $4 million. And that's where the Wizards part gets looped in, and the Lakers have to give up Mo Wagner, Isak Bonga, and 2 additional seconds, which have not become anything useful. Now, that's not as dramatic as what happened with LeBron and Bosh going to Miami, but I do think it's important to note that this is another example of guys saying, hey, we only want to go to a certain place, we want to get traded there, and we want to make the max amount of money, and it costing that team additional assets. Mo is not a major needle mover, but he is a nice piece, and he's an asset that the Lakers didn't need to give up. In the offseason, it looks like the Lakers do a pretty good job adding to the bench. They bring back JaVale McGee, Rondo, KCP, while bringing in Avery Bradley, DeMarcus Cousins, Danny Green, Quinn Cook. Also keeping Alex Caruso around, which, given he's not even on this picture, was not a given at that time. Throughout all the injuries, the Lakers are looking for a starting center, and thanks to LeBron James's good friend James Jones, who inexplicably buys out Tyson Chandler's contract, allows him to go sign with the Lakers and start a good chunk of the season for them. Now, this roster remains relatively healthy throughout the year and fairly intact. They waived DeMarcus Cousins and signed Dion Waiters, and then when the bubble happens and Avery Bradley says he's not returning, they signed J.R. Smith. And instead of LeBron missing a third of the season like he did the year prior, he plays 67 of the Lakers' 71 games because, of course, this is the COVID year, and they go on to win the bubble title. Now, winning the title makes it all worth it, but unfortunately, the Lakers have a problem where they're now at the oldest team in the league status. And being the oldest team in the league does hurt your chances of repeating, so the Lakers, instead of running it back, do try to retool. So the Lakers' big 2020 splash is bringing in Montrezl Harrell and Dennis Schroeder, guys who were 1 and 2 in 6th Man of the Year award voting. And I stand behind this being a solid plan. Let's bring in some guys who can run the offense when LeBron's out or when Davis sits. Like, what is the Lakers' offense outside of those guys at this time? Nothing. Now, these two guys did have different costs. Montrez was able to be signed straight up. Dennis Schroeder, the Lakers did need to trade for. And the Lakers trade Danny Green, who had been a big part of their championship run, being a 3-and-D wing, as well as their draft pick, who was used to select Jaden McDaniels. Now, I don't know about you, but I would much rather have Jaden McDaniels right now. But that's just hindsight. The Lakers also make a few other older signings, Marc Gasol, Wes Matthews, but they're not that pivotal to this season. Now, history is a funny thing because we can look back at this season and say it was a disappointment, and we'd say, like, hey, they offered Schroeder an extension, he turned it down, and didn't live up to it. But really, what didn't happen this year was LeBron Davis didn't play as much. It's a shortened season, but the Lakers finish on pace to win 48 games as opposed to their pace the prior year, which was 60. But LeBron plays 45 games as opposed to 67. Davis is at 36 games as opposed to 62. So if you're telling me you got half as much Davis and 2/3 as much LeBron and you won 12 fewer games, I consider that a successful season. And so in the 2021 offseason, the Lakers decide to move off the remaining pieces of the championship core that aren't named Davis or LeBron. The championship team featured 3-and-D wings, KCP and Danny Green, both gone. Bench scoring, Kyle Kuzma, gone. And what's not listed in terms of this deal were Westbrook's contract made it impossible for them to bring back Alex Caruso. Well, technically not impossible. It made them choose between Talen Horton-Tucker or Caruso, and Talen Horton-Tucker was represented by Clutch Sports, and so they kept THT. And there's your point of attack, bench defense gone, in hopes of bringing in an aging superstar. Now, we can keep going through the next couple of years of Lakers deals, but I think at this point the Lakers have kind of learned their lesson. They're starting to build patiently, they're starting to give their young guys some time to develop. I love seeing Max Christie out there. I hope that Dalton Connect is able to stick around and have a career and gets to grow in LA. Austin Reeves coming up through the G League, getting to be the player he is now has been really great. I'll do a wrap up at the end of this, but I just want to say I think the Lakers really show that there's some value in continuity. If a young superstar is available, like 26-year-old Anthony Davis, sure, you go all in for him. But outside of that, if the Lakers had just kept the roster together, maybe brought Schroeder back, we could be looking at a team with Schroeder, Reeves, and Caruso in the backcourt. LeBron, Kuzma, Dalton Connect playing the forwards. And if Davis was willing to take his $4 million pay cut and waive his trade bump, the Lakers could still have Mo Wagner. And that team is probably more competitive than the team that the Lakers have right now.